Okay, I'm going to show a little bit of improv here. This is a former store display rack from actually Best Buy when I worked there a couple years ago, helping do the interior refits at the store. They threw away about 35 or 40 of these sheets of this grid square stuff. Now you can also get this at a place called Portland Store Fixtures. They buy, sell, and broker used store display stuff, and I've had to turn this stuff down. It's really available out there if you're around a retail store, so they do interior remodels and refits. Even at the store display place, a lot of times they get this for free, and what you really pay for is the storage. So if you know, they've stored it for a year or two, they're going to charge you 20 to 40 bucks a sheet because they're trying to recover the storage costs. Fortunately, I was able to intercept a whole bunch of these before they made it to the dumpster at Best Buy. My last time working at Best Buy, last month it was, I was driving a little car. We had to throw a bunch of these things away. I didn't have any way of carrying them home. And it's thicker material than on agricultural hog rate. And you have to grind it before welding it because it's powder coated usually. And it may be in different colors, but if you leave it out in the sun, it kind of catches a little roughness to it, and that'll actually make it hold paint better. I was ducking the rain to make these over the last couple weeks. Really didn't take all that long to make. I just basically cut 3 sections down on one, used one to cut a bunch of these out, weld them where I could. If it's a little warped or not quite matching up, that's okay, as long as most of them weld, it's going to hold just fine. What you use these for is on vehicle roof racks, so that you can get a lot of gear on there. And material cost on something like this, it's double the size of like the Yakima or the Thule equivalent for almost, you know, close to half the money if you do your own welding. If I were to sell these things, I probably would have to charge about you know, 80, 90 bucks each, and you could buy one half that size with 2 sections deep, maybe just for about 100 bucks, you know, at a place that sells the Yakima products. But let me show you how this worked on the van. So over here on a van, I was able to fit 2 of these up here because it's I think it's a 12-foot roof rack here, because I know when I carry 20-foot pieces of steel, it doesn't quite go a full 4 foot over each side, so it might be actually a little over 12 foot. So what happens when you stick these on a roof rack of a vehicle, it's almost like having a little pickup truck bed up there, but with the airflow going through it. You still want to secure stuff. I mean, I still secured that ladder down, but it's not that hard. You can use a spider net or something like that to secure it down. And so what that allows is the top of a vehicle to almost become like a pickup truck bed. And you can have these things, there's enough structural integrity to them that if they were to stick off the back or toward the front a little bit, let's say on a 4-door cab pickup truck, then you're going to be really good to go with that. And you'd be able to throw gear bags and stuff up on there. I realize that you know, you could be loading top heavy under some of those circumstances, so you got to be careful with that. But the other thing is just to open up space on the inside passenger compartment area of the vehicle and unclutter it, okay? The other thing is, if you put something like this up on the roll bars of a vehicle, you can have a lot of gear over you where it's just not cluttering up your passenger compartment, which is kind of good in a lot of different scenarios. So yeah, if you guys ever get a hold of this store display fixture stuff and you want to deal with a relatively quick and easy, you know, short day welding project, this is pretty good. And if you want to make a little side money and you get a hold of some of the store fixture material, and you just want to make these things and sell them locally, you know, one of the reasons they're not commercially available that much is they're kind of difficult to ship anywhere. So it's something that would be made and sold locally. As far as attaching them to a vehicle roof rack, you know, there's a lot of different ways. What I've been playing with, and I think is going to work out pretty well, is just use a whole bunch of zip ties. Now, you know, if I were just to do 4 zip ties, like one on each corner, that's not going to be strong enough. I start doing a whole row of zip ties across every point where they'll fit, like over here, you know, across the whole thing. That's pretty good. The only thing we got to run into is, you know, there could be some sunlight deterioration, that sort of a thing. So you got to redo the zip ties every once in a while. But I found with these things secured on here, it's pretty good. It's almost like having another couple of small pickup truck beds up there. You can throw gear up there without having to clutter up the inside of the van or SUV, you know, whatever vehicle you're using. You start sticking this, something like this on the roof of like a Subaru wagon, then you're talking about really adding a lot of cargo capacity, and for much less money than one of those torpedo shaped things, which kind of ends up with some size limitations inside. So if you have any questions on how to make these or where to get the materials, you know, just kind of look around, check your Craigslist, look for store display fixtures. That's what these are made out of. And quick and easy welding project for those who want to practice with their, you know, practice with a home grade welder like the Harbor Freight 90 amp unit. I did this with a MIG welder. As soon as we get enough dry weather long enough that I can have reliable drying time, I'm just going to hit that with some rust converter paint and probably paint these all black to match a roof rack.